Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam. I have that book here, and it's chapter 1. And prior to that, in the book, they have a big long section about, very interesting section about Srimad Bhagavatam, and they quote Srila Prabhupada's, a lot of Prabhupada's purports in the beginning. That was done separately from, or maybe Gurudev had them read it in Badger, because these are taken from Badger lectures. But the first chapter is, titled, I Meditate on the Absolute Truth. Inquiry by the Sages is the first section. Then Invocation Shloka, or Janmadhyasya Yataha. And Mangala Charana is Mangala Charana. And then Why Krishna Descends. That's the section where, like you said, at least 20. But we're going to read that today. And then after that it goes into the meaning of the first shloka, Janmadhyasya. And, he's giving, and then further meanings of the first shloka. And that ends that section. So, but the report for Janmashtami and Nandotsav is nice, because it gets you in the mood. You're envisioning, how Gurudev used to celebrate in Mathura every year, which is amazing. They took them all. You can just take... Where are the kartals? Kartals. 1, 2... Where's the other? You have one? You have one? Okay. But you should give the kartals to him, because you don't know how to play. You don't know how to play. Oh, well, then I'll teach you if you want. I can teach you how to play.
Lesson I can give him.
Yeah?
Okay. I have to.
You have 2?
Yes.
How do you have 2?
I don't want to give him because unwritten.
You cannot. Give him.
I don't want you play.
Give him the kartals. But really, you should learn if you're going to take one of the kartals.
I cannot play when he plays.
I'm not the only person that knows how to play kartals. Okay, it's not a difficult thing, but you have to at least learn how to put them on your fingers. That's the first step. No, I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it now. Okay, Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Jataha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Sachi-Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi-Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Sachi-Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi-Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So the very most sacred day of the whole year is coming after a few days. The 27th, Tuesday, is Sri Krishna Janmashtami Day. Today is the 22nd. So we have today's class, and then we have Sunday's class on the 25th. So in these two classes, prior to Janmashtami Day on Tuesday the 27th, we will churn Gurudev's Harikatha regarding Krishna Janmashtami and all related topics, which means the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Because Gurudev bases everything in this book that was compiled from lectures that Srila Gurudev gave on the Srimad Bhagavatam, but he gave these in Badger very early on. Maybe the second, third, fourth year, he gave this series of lectures which were compiled together, and the title was given Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam. And it's really an amazing book of Gurudev's, and quite unlike certain Krishna Katha that we've heard before, because Gurudev goes into a lot of history which led up to the appearance of Lord Krishna and the reasons why Krishna appeared in this world 5,000 years ago. Why did Krishna descend? There are many reasons, actually. And those reasons become gradually revealed and unfolded as we read through the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srila Gurudev, in a very concise way, he's given the whole list of various reasons why Krishna appeared. But of course we know that he has his primary reasons for his appearance, and then there are also secondary reasons. But the appearance of Krishna in this world is very important for us, little tiny jivas. Do you know that? This is very important, that Krishna appeared in this world. And all I can say in my case, I had no idea who is God, even though going through 9 years in my childhood of hearing the Bible over and over every single year, celebrating Christmas, Jesus' so-called birthday, but in actuality it wasn't really the date of his birthday, but the whole Christmas culture of the West, the whole religious culture of Europe and America and so forth was mostly fundamentally based on Christianity. And secondarily, then there was Judaism, which is also in the same category of Abrahamic religions. And then, of course, you've got the Muslim religion. Those three are the basis of Western civilization's religions. But guess what? Not in one single place in their books, whether it's the Talmud or the Torah or the, what's the Muslims again? Quran or the Bible, no description of God, who He is, what He looks like, what does He do, where does He live, is He really a person? I can remember a discussion I had with my father after I was visiting years later, after I became a devotee, to my parents' house in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think at that time it was around 1982, perhaps. Yeah. So it was 12 years I'd already been a devotee, and now I was in the beginning couple of years of my grihastha life. And I remember getting into a discussion with my father one day. And he was a churchgoer. He went to church, and he forced us to go to church, which was not a pleasant thing, because for us, it was so boring. Later, my father admitted that fact, because the preacher, he was called the pastor, his sermons were so like especially for a young, for young children, who are 10, 12 years old, and it's your weekend and you just want to run outside and play. No, go to church. We'd have to sit there during this whole hour. It was intolerable. Not interesting at all. And that was on top of the other 5 days of the week, Monday through Friday, of being subjected to, singing many hymns. That was kind of okay, because at least there was some music and singing and so forth, and then standing up next to our desks about 7 times every day, before school, after school, before recess, after recess, before lunch, after lunch, and we would have to say a prayer. Now, I'm admitting that this is good for human beings to have some discipline in praying to God and so forth. But the big problem was there was no information at all. At all. Only thing is we saw a couple of pictures of an old man in the clouds with a few little angels with a long white beard and white hair. That was it. So when I became early teenage years, of course it was the 1960s, the cultural revolutionary period in American history, in European history, where the youth were rebelling against the norm that their parents, what the society had to offer. And that's why there was this whole movement, the hippie movement, to drop out of society and so forth. But there was a philosophical basis of it. Srila Prabhupada used to explain that because the Western society didn't have anything to offer, then the young people started to become hippies. And basically they didn't really have much philosophy. But then the Indian philosophy, the current, began to enter through music, through different famous musical groups like the Beatles and so forth. And sitar music and Ravi Shankar and artistic and incense, and like this. So this was pervasive in the society at that time. But, it was not that I had a conscious idea that I need to find out God. It was not like that. It was unconscious. That there was a deep yearning and a deep searching, and I didn't quite know what I was searching for. But when I came into contact with the Hare Krishna movement, through the Hare Krishna devotees, and the books, and especially the Mahamantra, even without knowing the meaning of it or anything, I just was very open and I began to chant without knowing even the meaning. That whole story I've told many times. But my point is that until it was introduced to me, the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and the preliminary knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that on this very planet, 5,000 years ago, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Source who has created everything, the Personality who knows everything. This is described in the Bible also. God is omniscient, all-knowing. God is all-powerful, omnipotent. God is omnipresent. But I don't, the point is, give me something I can really experience. I've already experienced for years in my childhood, growing up and hearing and this and that. But I want to experience. If God is really there, I need to have some connection. I need to understand where He is, who He is. So, when this knowledge was presented to me, I was very ready to hear it. And it talked about that this name Hare Krishna is actually the name of God. And who is this? It's a person. This is a person who was physically on this planet 5,000 years ago. In the Bible, there's no knowledge that God ever came down, onto the planet. Only that Moses went up into the hills and received the 10 Commandments, then he came down. But that God actually descended onto this planet, that was something quite astonishing to me. Really? Yeah. And he spoke his message to all of the whole world in the Sanskrit language. And Sanskrit? What is Sanskrit? When I began to look at that language, I began, wow, this is the ancient language. Later on, I found out it's the source of all languages. All languages have originally stemmed from Sanskrit. And there's this body of knowledge about God, coming from those who realize God, and they're called the Vedas. And the word Veda means knowledge. Knowledge, Veda, to know. And when I found out, and saw pictures also, painted by the devotees, that God has His eternal form. He's not without a form. I wanted to go back to what I was saying. I had a conversation with my father. And I was trying to explain to him about God. Because he believes in God, praying to God, going to church. But who is God? Who is God? So, his conception was still rooted in this biblical Western Christianity idea that God is an old man and He created everything. But when I began to tell him, and I stressed the word person. And as I was speaking to him, and I was trying to tell him that God is a person, suddenly he became very upset. He became very upset. What do you mean, God is a person? It was like as if he was accusing me of blaspheming against God, that God is a person. I said, yes, in the Bible it says that God created Adam and Eve and the human society after his own image. So his image is human-like. He's a person. What do you mean he's a person? And then he got up and stormed across the room. He was practically going to... I said, what? Hold on here. Well, why are you becoming so upset? Don't you believe God is a person? No, he's not a person. He's a spirit. He's a spirit. I said, okay, spirit. But the spirit has form and shape. At that point, I suddenly realized what Srila Prabhupada had been telling about Western civilization. That Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane. Nirvisheshvad means God has no form, no shape, no qualities like that. And Shunyavad means practically atheism. God doesn't exist. Everything is nothing. Voidism, like Buddhism. And this is the disease enrooted very deeply into Western civilization and into all these Abrahamic sects of religion that are all over the world. And the reason why is because they have never been presented with the authoritative knowledge that God is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. As Lord Brahma says in the first verse of his Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So, they have no knowledge, no information. But the fact is that the basis of Christianity, as Srila Prabhupada accepted, is good, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur accepted, that there are some good things in Christianity, because it allows and enables someone to believe that there is one supreme God who is above everyone. One. The supreme one. But who is that supreme? You see, this is the point. No one knows. But we know. The Vedas know. The sages know. Like since the beginning of time in our universe, Brahmaji received all knowledge from Krishna himself and come down in disciplic succession for yugas and kalpas. This is the real knowledge and the only knowledge of God. You'll not find it in any other religious concept. No one can tell you what God looks like. No one can tell you where he lives, what his transcendental or his spiritual abode, heaven, what's going on there. But the Vedas tell. And what is the most important book of the Vedas? Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the most important book in all the Vedas, because it's the conclusion of Srila Vyasadeva. He himself wrote the conclusion of all Vedic knowledge, and he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. So there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in 90 chapters, 10th canto, the entire pastimes that took place right on our planet here, 5,000 years before. So I was very lucky, because when I entered the temple on the 3rd of August 1970, there was a nice book stand from India, and the brand new Krishna book, big huge Krishna book, was there. And that Krishna book became our life. for my first, weeks and months in the movement. We would read it every day. We would read it as we were driving in the Sankirtan vehicle. We would read it as we were taking prasadam. We're listening, someone is reading, we're listening. That Krishna book is Krishna. This is the supreme knowledge. Who is God? So, our Gurudev, he traveled all over the world, giving numerous lectures for 15 years, non-stop. And he also produced so many books for the future Vaishnavas to be able to understand very deeply what is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, what is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these things. Our Gurudev worked very hard, and before that Srila Prabhupada worked every single night for hours translating books. The whole 12 years that he was traveling around the whole world in the West, constantly translating these books. And he gave the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now he wasn't able to go beyond the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, but it's been done now. And now we're getting the commentaries of all the acharyas. We already have the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but now we're getting the commentaries of the 10th canto by all the important acharyas. Prabhupada used to refer to 5 different acharyas. He had his book that he would look at as he was translating. And what are the opinions, what are the statements of the previous acharyas? So there is no other movement in the entire world, anywhere, that can give what this Krishna consciousness movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what it's giving to the world. It's giving the knowledge of who is God, who is the supreme absolute truth, who controls the movements of the planets. It is a person. It is a conscious living being, but he's very powerful. He's not like us. We're also powerful. If he wants us to be powerful, we can also create planets. Lord Brahma does that. Lord Brahma creates planets, doesn't he? Yeah, there were no planets before Lord Brahma began creating, but how does he get the power to do that? From Krishna. And guess what? His tiny little Jivatma is the same as ours. We can even become Brahma if Krishna wants. That's how powerful the Jivatma is. But that power comes from Krishna. Then there's no religion that has any concept of this. Nothing. And then what about the demigods? Does Christianity tell you anything? Nothing. Nothing. That there's a whole governmental system in the universe for every single force of nature, every aspect of nature. There's a whole separate department. The sun department, the rain department, the wind department, and there are living entities who control that. Because guess what? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't fool around with all these little things. Where is he? What is he doing? Where is he? He's in his eternal abode. Yes? And he's enjoying. He's having blissful, ecstatic, loving exchanges forever and ever and ever, and playing his flute, attracting all the Vrijvasis, attracting the gopis, and he speaks to them through his flute. His flute is very important. Are there any concepts of God that God is the supreme musician? Playing his flute, singing, dancing. Everything that the human society takes as enjoyable, we see that all the time now. That the human beings, they love to gather together, and like at big stadiums or big conferences, and they all like to chant, they all like to sing and dance, and why? Where is that coming from? It's coming from him, from Krishna. Because we are just tiny little reflections of him. So the appearance of the supreme absolute truth on our planet 5,000 years ago, that has been celebrated for all these thousands of years, that he appeared on that very day, Ashtami, the 8th day after the full moon. But who appeared on the full moon day? His direct expansion, his first expansion, Baladev Balaram. You see. So the Srimad Bhagavatam was the main scripture that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constantly preached, Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavad Gita, of course, and Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary knowledge. Like in a school, you have primary school, secondary school, and like that. So the primary knowledge of Vedic knowledge is what Krishna directly spoke. And when I first came in contact with the Bhagavad Gita, we used to read it every single day. Every single evening we'd have Bhagavad Gita class. Every single morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. And then we'd go out and preach and chant and do all of our services all day long. See? So we learned Bhagavad Gita very well. We memorized many, many verses, many shlokas. And to me, it was always such a powerful thing. Powerful thing. And I remember in the first, within the first month and a half, 2 months, when I joined the temple in Detroit, then the temple was moved, because it was just in a big ordinary house. But then they found a new location right across the street from a big park, and right there was the big lake. And it was like the main called Jefferson Boulevard in Detroit, a big boulevard. And it was a very nice area. All the houses were, people had money that lived in that area. But this was like right on the main road. And it was actually an old people's home. That's what it was. So now the devotees purchased it, moved in, and then Srila Prabhupada, when he came to Detroit the next summer, in the beginning of July, it's all there in Shama Sundar's book. When Prabhupada came there to Detroit, about 200 devotees converged from Canada and East, and because the devotees had started temples, multiple temples in America. And when Prabhupada came, most of the devotees, because Prabhupada had been gone for 1 whole year from America, he went back to India and he started his movement there. And for more than 10 months, he traveled all over India with about 30 devotees. They're called his World Sankirtan Party, And this second volume of Chasing Rhinos with the Swami by Shama Sundar Prabhu, that tells the details of that 10-month period traveling with Prabhupada. Amazing, amazing. And then after that, Shama Sundar became Prabhupada's personal secretary, and he went with him touring all over the world for, at least a couple of years, 2-3 years from that point. So when Prabhupada came to the airport, we were all waiting. They didn't have all the security that they have nowadays. If it's just not an international flight, but just a local flight, they didn't even have any security that anybody had to walk through back then, did they? You could go right up to the place where the passengers are coming off. And that's what we did. We went there and sat there with like 200 devotees doing kirtan. You could never do that in airports now. But they allowed us to do it back then. And then, when Srila Prabhupada came out from the door, which, the door has that long little tunnel thing from the airplane. And so many people came off the plane, and they were a little bit shocked to see that there's 200 people sitting there singing and playing these strange musical instruments. And then one devotee came and he said, Prabhupada's coming. And then when Srila Prabhupada came into the doorway and moved very slowly out from the doorway with a big smile on his face, to see all of us. Most of the devotees there hadn't yet met Prabhupada, but they've been devotees for many months. And now we're seeing our spiritual master for the first time in the flesh. And it was such an amazing moment. And, Srila Prabhupada walked forward. Every devotee, when we saw Prabhupada, all of our heads just hit the floor. It was like that story of the Brahmas in Dwarka, where Krishna called for the various Brahmas from different universes to come. And our Brahma was small amongst them. And then when they came and they arrived, they all simultaneously, with their helmets, they all paid obeisances to Krishna, with a big tumultuous sound of their helmets banging against the floor. So, on a very small scale, that's kind of what it was like. And when we came up from paying obeisances and we saw Srila Prabhupada, everyone's eyes just burst with tears. Everyone's eyes. Every single devotee there their faces were completely wet with tears. And I think in all the years that I saw Srila Prabhupada many times, I think that could have been the most emotional, the most intense time. Of course, it was my very first time, and the first time for all these devotees. So, Srila Prabhupada started the Hare Krishna movement, and he was depending on Krishna. And he admitted that he didn't know in the very beginning what would happen, how long he would be able to stay, what he would be able to accomplish. But that's the epic story that will be told for the next thousands of years, is how this devotee, this disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how he spread the Krishna consciousness movement to every single part of the world. In 12 short years, in his ripe old age, But he introduced Krishna. And there were so many victories along the way, which Shyamasundar explains those high points, like victory points. He called them another rhino, because Chasing Rhinos with the Swami was the title of his book. And it was one rhino after, because, to hunt rhinos is almost impossible. So if somebody can actually do it, just see. So that's why he named the book Chasing Rhinos with the Swami, because Prabhupada said that. But periodically throughout the book, as very amazing things happen, then he says, another rhino in the bag, like that. So Srila Prabhupada gave the Krishna book around that same time, around 1968-69. Prabhupada gave the Krishna book, it was printed, and then it was distributed everywhere. But the devotees didn't know yet how to distribute books. The techniques, they hadn't yet been developed. And we just stood on the streets chanting, and we would approach people near to us and talk a little bit with them. But we didn't know how to distribute these big books. So in 1970 and 71, the movements yet didn't know. The devotees had not been trained how to go out and meet people in public and give them a book and convince them in a nice way that it would be good if they purchase this book and give a donation, But we didn't know at that time. Then there was one famous devotee. I was trying to remember his name the other day, but I couldn't remember for some reason. But you know perfectly well. That first devotee who took the box of books on his shoulders. Buddhimanta, that's right. Buddhi. Yeah, Buddhi. Buddhimanta. There were some devotees who they were very key in this revolution of book distribution. Our godbrother Bopadev Prabhu, he was one of the main devotees for many, many years. I can't hear. Well, yeah, but I'm saying there was like battalions of devotees, and then there were leaders of those battalions. One of them was our revered Sripad Tripurari Swami. He knew him very, very well. And there's a list of luminaries, I would say like 5 or 10, that were like key devotees of the book distribution revolution. And it was really a revolution. It was amazing during that time. Still, of course, it's going on today. Devotees are still distributing books everywhere. But at that time, everyone was very aware that very few people had ever gotten a book before or had heard of Hare Krishna. In fact, I've heard that even nowadays there's a lot of people that, because they're not so aware that the Hare Krishna movement, so there's a lot of people that if you meet them on the streets, they don't know about Hare Krishna. But at that time, Srila Prabhupada was emphasizing that you must distribute these books. These books will go everywhere. They will change the world. And even if a person gets the book and just leaves it on the shelf in his house, eventually someone will pick up that book and they'll read that book. And Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj even said that from the book in a person's house are coming divine rays. He used this term, like rays. Divine rays are coming. Because the book is Krishna himself. These books are not ordinary paper and cardboard and ink. These books are Krishna. They're incarnations of Krishna. They're directly Krishna. You can perform artik to the books. In fact, we used to do that in our traveling Sankirtan. We would live in these bus vans or trucks, converted into Sankirtan vehicles. And we would put a Srimad Bhagavatam there, and we would perform artik to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, Krishna Janmashtami is now just around the corner, and the whole world, there are devotees everywhere performing this Krishna Janmashtami festival in temples and preaching centers, even in their own homes. Devotees all over the world, and of course especially in India. There are hundreds of ISKCON temples, what to speak of other temples, but everyone knows Krishna and worships Krishna. Everyone knows that that day is a very special day in the Hindu calendar when Krishna was born, Janma Ashtami. But what's the truth behind it? You have to read Srimad Bhagavatam to understand that truth. So I'm going to read. I just lost it. Darn. Okay. I'm going to read Srila Gurudev. Well, it's an introduction. It's an introduction to it's an introduction to the Janmashtami festival, because, Srila Gurudev lived in Mathura, Keshavji Gaudiya Math. He lived in Mathura. And for 50 years or longer. But at that time, this is back in, it doesn't say the date actually, not here. Oh, wait. Oh, yes. So it's the 9th of September, the year 2000. I think I was there. No, I wasn't there. I was in Russia at that time. But this is on the 9th of September in the year 2000. And it's describing the Janmashtami Eve procession. And that temple, relatively small temple, Keshavji Gaudiya Math, is right on one of the main roads in Mathura. And it became a very influential temple while Gurudev was living there and preaching, and he knew hundreds and thousands of the local people. So every year, in order to have, the build-up for the next day, Krishna Janmashtami, Srila Gurudev always organized a grand procession with elephants, with camels, with marching bands, with kirtan groups, with little Brijvasi kids dressed as Krishna and sitting on, and Gurudev himself would also be seated on one of the vehicles that was going. And this went all around the streets of Mathura for 4 hours. For 4 hours. Began like 5 p.m. and then it just went all over. So I'm going to read So this is Mathura, August 19th and 20th of 2003. Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. So this is called the Janmashtami Eve procession. So for several days leading up to the appearance day of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, thousands of sadhus and pilgrims, they were finding their way to Mathura Dham to observe the Janmashtami Vrat, the Janmashtami vow, and to have darshan of Kamsa's dungeon where Vasudev Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. Of course, that's not the actual place. It's next to there, where they built the mosque. But we've heard that mosque is coming down. Yes, and they're going to build a whole new temple there. Huge temple, right in Krishna's birthplace, and right where the previous dungeon palace was. But now when you go there, they have another place right next to it that they've made it look kind of like that would have been the place where Vasudeva and Devaki were in chains and all of that, called Kamsa's dungeon. So people are coming from all over, sadhus, pilgrims. They're coming to Mathura for Janmashtami because Krishna appeared in Mathura. According to the knowledge of most people, he appeared in Mathura, in the palace of Kamsa. So And the people would also be coming to bathe in the sacred Yamuna River and to perform parikrama of the many significant tirthas in and around Mathura. Now, by the causeless mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all such pilgrims, along with the local residents of Mathura Dham, they had the immensely good fortune to take part in a unique Maha Nagar Sankirtan festival organized by Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math under the affectionate guidance of Sri Srimad Tridandi Swami Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. So on the Adivas, that means the day prior to Sri Krishna Janmashtami, hundreds of faithful Vaishnavas assembled at 5 p.m. on the main street in front of Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. So many times we went from Vrindavan by taxi to Gurudev's Math, Keshavji Gaudiya Math, to hear his lecture and then go back again after. And we would have to pass right by the Janmastan and then go up this hill, and at that time the condition of the road was like as if you were in a place where they were bombing. You just potholes everywhere. Finally they fixed it after many years. But that's the corruption in India, where they pocket the money and don't, the politicians. Ugh, horrible. So anyway, everyone gathered, and this extraordinary parade, immediately it began to attract thousands of joyful onlookers who were very curious to observe such a formidable Samkirtan party. And spearheading the procession was a huge elephant, brightly painted with the holy names on it, and driven by Sripad Bhaktivedanta Mangal Maharaj. Remember him? He's a godbrother of Gurudev. I don't remember him driving it, but at any rate, that's what it says here. Now the elephant, who was right in the very front of the whole parade, was closely followed many people carrying flags and festoons, and then there was a camel, and the camel was equipped on either side of his humps with thundering kettle drums. Then came a traditional marching brass band playing Braja songs in glorification of the divine couple. And behind the band, two young boys exquisitely dressed as Sri Krishna and Sri Balaram. They were gracefully parading on two splendid horses. Then came the first Kirtan party, comprising the international wing of the Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, with devotees from England, USA, South America, Australia, France, Holland, Philippines, Fiji, New Zealand, and other countries. Then, behind the Foreign Affairs Department, came a float that was elaborately decorated to resemble a beautiful Vrindavan Kunj. So within that Kunj, some local children, they dressed up as Sri Sri Radha Krishna. They were seated upon a jeweled throne in the midst of their beloved Sakhis. As if this were not enough, a team of local Vrajvasi young men, and then further down the line, a group of local Vrajvasi ladies, they were singing songs about Brajendra Nandan Sri Krishna and dancing with the rhythmic striking of batons as per the traditional customs. Then came a float upon which Param Pujapad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj was regally ensconced among some of the prominent sannyasis of Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, such as Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Maharaj, that's the godbrother of Gurudev, and Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj, our Madhav Maharaj. So this float It was closely followed by a kirtan party comprising sannyasis and brahmacharis from Mathura, Vrindavan, and Navadvip Dham. The third kirtan party sang melodious and love-laden kirtans for the pleasure of Sri Gaur Sundar and Sri Radha Vinod Bihari. and they were accepting the service. Radha Vinod Bihari and Gaur Sundar were accepting the service of the devotees from their Singhasan on the next float. Furthermore, there were many other attractive floats in honor of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, and other worshipful manifestations of Sri Krishna Chandra. So you know what a float is? A float in Western parades is like a vehicle. You know, you've seen parades. In Russia you also have big parades. And it's like a vehicle that is decorated. And it's kind of covered, so you can't really see the vehicle that much. And they have different colorfully dressed persons on different floats representing whatever the theme may be for that parade, like this. So now, flanked on both sides by volunteers carrying lights and a large military escort, the entire pageant set off with a flourish of trumpets and began to wind its way around downtown Mathura. So thus, for the next 4.5 hours, the streets were filled with the auspicious uproar of Harinam Sankirtan as practiced and preached by the great master himself, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such a kaleidoscopic furor, I don't know who wrote this, kaleidoscopic furor amidst such a plethora of musical accompaniments is rarely seen on this side of the Viraja River. My God, it doesn't say, I looked, who wrote this? So at approximately 9:30 p.m., then the various kirtan parties reached a crescendo as they arrived once again outside the gate of Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. And after giving Jayadvani to our Sri Guru Parampara, and apart from being both exhausted and happy, all the Vaishnavas were left with a very distinct and magical impression that tomorrow must be the birthday of the all-merciful ocean of rasa, Shyama Sundar, Sri Krishna. We pray that the Supreme Personality of Godhead may be satisfied by our insignificant endeavors to please Him. So now comes Janmashtami day. And at 6:30 a.m. on the auspicious morning of Janmashtami day, then Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj went to have darshan of the sacred appearance place of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and then he promptly returned to Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math. So he just went there on his own with a couple of devotees in a car. And he returned to Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math to give a class. First of all, Srila Maharaj requested the devotees to sing Sri Mangala Geetam, and then he commented as follows. So I'm going to just look at the song up so that I can also have it here for reference. What's the first line of that verse? Shrita, yes, Shrita. Okay. This song is written by Sri Jayadev Goswami. It's one of the most important songs glorifying Krishna. Written, and it's part of Gita Govinda, which is written by Jayadev Goswami. And Gurudev would love to hear this song sung on these special days where Krishna or Mahaprabhu or different special festival days, Gurudev would always like to have this song sung because it's such a prominent and important song. So I'm going to read verse by verse, and then Gurudev gives like a little commentary. So this first verse, Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala Kalita Lalita Vanamala Kalita Lalita Vanamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Kalita Lalita Vanamala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. And then there's a refrain after each verse which goes Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So, Gurudev is giving his own commentary to this. He's not mentioning each and every aspect, but I'm reading the translation first, and then I'm going to Gurudev's highlighting it. So, Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala, O you who take shelter of the round breasts of Kamala. Who is Kamala? Srimati Radharani. O you whose ears are decorated with earrings, and who wears an enchanting garland of forest flowers, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So, now Srila Gurudev says, once a Devi Dasi was singing this song nearby the Sri Mandir in Puri. Gurudev is telling this story. And upon hearing it, Sri Jagannath became so overwhelmed with bhav that he immediately ran out of the temple. Can you imagine? Jagannath. He ran out of the temple, and his ornaments were scattered here and there. His cloth was torn as he rushed through thorny bushes. And then Gurudev says, similarly, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this song, he became mad. And he ran to embrace the songstress, a lady who was singing the song. So why? Why? Gurudev is asking. What is in this kirtan that excites such intense emotion? So now Gurudev is explaining. Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala Jayadev Goswami is the author of this song, and he is glorifying his Ishtadeva, Shri Shri Radha Madhava. Here Kamala refers to who? To Srimati Radhika. Vanamala means a garland of forest flowers. So who will wear simple forest flowers? Ramachandra? Will Ramachandra wear simple forest flowers? No. Vanamala is worn only by Vanachari, Lord Krishna. Kalita Lalita. It means that Lord Krishna's garland reaches from his neck to his knees or to his feet. It is made of flowers of 5 or 7 colors, and also many pendants of fragrant tulsi manjaris. Bees are hovering around it, attracted by the makaranda. Makaranda means the honey that is oozing from the flowers. And his kundala, his earrings, Krishna's earrings are his, what is it? It means his very acute curiosity to hear about the qualities of Srimati Ji, Srimati Radhika. So may that Gopinath be victorious. So now the second verse. Dina mani mandala mandana bhavakandana e. Dina mani mandala mandana bhavakandana e. Muni janamana sahangsa. Muni janamana sahangsa. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Muni Janamana Sahangsa. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Everyone. Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So the second verse translation is, O ornament of the sun globe, O you who severs the bondage of material existence, O swan who sports in the lake of the sages' minds, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So now Gurudev is telling Dina Mani. Dina Mani means the Supreme Son, Sri Krishna. He's actually the Supreme Son. Then Srimati Radhika is the Mandana. Mandana means ornament of his Rasa Mandala. Mandana and Mandala. So Srimati Radhika is the ornament of Krishna's Rasa Mandala. Shri Krishna is the swan who sports in the lake of the pure hearts of the Munis. Here, Munis refers to the four Kumaras, to Srila Vyasadeva and Shukadev Goswami. And moreover, it refers to Sri Rup and Sri Sanatan Goswami. So now comes the third verse. Kaliya Vishadara Ganjana Janaranjana e. Kaliya Vishadara Ganjana Janaranjana e. Yadukula Nalina Dinesha Yadukula Nalina Dinesha Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Yadukula Nalina Dinesha Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Radhe Krishna Govinda. Everyone. Govinda Gopala Dulala Dulala Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So the translation of the third verse is Kaliya Vishadara Ganjana Janaranjana e. O you who pulverize the pride of the venomous snake Kaliya. O you who delight the people of Braja. O sun that makes the lotus of the Yadu dynasty bloom. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So now Gurudev explains, Jana Ranjana, it means he is trying to please the Vrajavasis. Krishna is trying to please his Jana Ranjana. So when Kaliya encircled Sri Krishna in his coils, Then the Vrajavasis became immersed in thoughts of him. They wanted to enter the poisonous lake, but Sri Baladev checked them. Thus their meditation deepened even more. Then when Sri Krishna broke free and began to dance on the hoods of Kaliya, all the Brijvasis became so pleased. What was Krishna's inner intention? He wanted to show his heroism to please the gopis. Here, the Sri Krishna of the Yadu dynasty is not Dwarkadish Krishna, but Sri Krishna of Vrindavan. How? How did this happen? Deva Midha Maharaj was a king in the dynasty of Yadu. From the womb of one wife who was from a Kshatriya dynasty, he begot a son named Surasena. Then from the womb of another wife, who was from a Vaishya family, he begot a son named Parjanya. So it's the same father. Who is the father? Devamidha Maharaj in the Yadu dynasty. Two different wives, one from Kshatriya, one from a Vaishya. So, and that son was named Parjanya from the Vaishya. And Parjanya is who? The father of who? Nanda Maharaj. And his altogether 5 brothers. So from the womb of another wife, who was from a Vaishya family, he begot a son named Parjanya. So Vasudev, the father of Dwarkadish Krishna, is the son of Surasena. And Nanda Maharaj, the father of Braja Sri Krishna, is the son of Parjanya Maharaj. Thus Lord Krishna in Braja is also in the Yadu Vamsha. That's how they're related, the dynasty of the Yadus. So now comes the 4th verse, Janaka Sutta. Wait. Oh, Gurudev is, it looks like he's skipping. Yeah, he's skipping. This is actually the 6th verse. Janaka Sutta Krita Bhushana Jita Dushana E. Janaka Sutta Krita Bhushana Jita Dushana E. Shamara Shamita Dashakanta. Bulo. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Everyone. Shamara Shamita Dashakanta. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Radhe Krishna Govinda. Everyone. Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala. Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So, now Gurudev says, Ram Leela is one of Sri Krishna's Leelas. In the form of Lord Ram, Sri Krishna has established Maryada, which are the codes of righteous conduct. And by doing so, he has made a platform from which one can practice bhakti to Shri Shri Radha Krishna. Here, Sri Jayadev Goswami remembers how Srimati Sita Ji is doing Shringar, decoration of Lord Ramachandra. But this was only on 2 occasions. Sita gave a garland to Ram at her Swayamvara and also on their return to Ayodhya. Then Gurudev goes on to the next verse, Abhinava Jaladhara. Okay. Abhinava Jaladhara Sundara Drita Mandara E. Abhinava Jaladhara Sundara Drita Mandara E. Shri Mukha Chandra Chakora Shri Mukha Chandra Chakora Radha Mukha Chandra Chakora Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Shri Mukha Chandra Chakora Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So, translation, O you whose complexion is lustrous like a fresh rain cloud, O you who hold the Mandara mountain and who are the Chakora bird incessantly attached to the moon-like face of Sri Radha, O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. So here, Gurudev says, Drita Mandara. Drita Mandara refers to Sri Krishna lifting Govardhan. And why did he lift Giriraj? To cut the pride of Indra, to protect the Brijvasis. All these reasons are secondary. Sri Jayadev Goswami gives the answer. Shri Mukha Chandra Chakora. Krishna and the gopis were always surrounded by their elders, and there was very little chance to meet or even to see each other. Therefore, because Sri Krishna is like a thirsty Chakora bird, eager to relish the nectar of the moon-like face of Srimati Radharani, so he lifted Govardhan to create the first opportunity to meet closely and see her beauty without any break of disruption. So, yes, so now Gurudev jumps to the end. Oh, Krishna, I did it again. Ugh, sorry. No, I lost the page. Okay. Okay. Almost there. You know, like when you're on one and you go zip like this, then it disappears. Okay. So now I'm back to the song. And now Gurudev is at the end of the song. Then comes Shri Jayadeva Kaver Idam Kurute Mudam. Yes. Oh. Okay. So this is the final verse. Shri Jayadeva Kaveridam Kurute Mudam. Shri Jayadeva Kaveridam Kurute Mudam. Mangala Ujvala Gitam, Mangala Ujvala Gitam, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Mangala Ujvala Gitam, Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. Radhe Krishna Gopala Tulala La Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. So Gurudev says this Gita, this song, Mangala Ujvala Gitam, this song is Mangala. Mangala means it's very auspicious because, why? Because Sri Radha has been glorified in this song. If anyone wants to enter Bhajan Rajya, Bhajan Rajya means the realm of loving service. He should have very strong mamata, strong possessiveness for Sri Sri Radha Krishna. And how will this mamata, how will it come? How will you get this mamata, this possessiveness for Sri Radha and Krishna? one must first perform Vishrambena Guru Seva. Vishrambena Guru Seva means that one should serve Sri Gurudev with intimacy and affection. Gurudev gives us so much, so why not feel indebted and serve him with one's life and soul? If we cannot have mamata for the one who gives us Krishna Seva Vasana, the tendency to serve Sri Krishna, and who nourishes our bhakti lata, our creeper of devotion, then we will have to have mamata for the wealthy, powerful, or attractive persons of this world. You have to have mamata for someone. So Gurudev says, if we cannot have this for Sri Guru, then you'll have to have it for people of this world. So thus, by such non-devotee association, a satsanga, we'll be ruined. And then, after this, then Srila Gurudev, Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj, he requested the devotees to sing the song Sri Das Avatar Stotram. And then he commented as follows about that song. So what is Sri Das Avatar Stotram? This is the song right in this Gita Govinda, right next to the song that we just sang. And this is the one that we know very well because we would sing the Nrsingadev all the time. What is that in the Nrsingadev? Tava kara kamala barena kam adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanu bringam keshavadrita narahari rupa jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare. So this is just one verse in the, I think there's 11 or 12 verses written by Jayadev Goswami. And this song is so powerful. That's how the king of Bengal at that time, the Vaishnava king, when Jayadev Goswami was on the planet, he heard this song being recited in his court. He said, well, who is the author of this song? He said, oh, it's Jayadev Goswami. He's one of the people in your kingdom. Where is he staying? And the king came to see him dressed in ordinary clothing. But Jayadev Goswami could detect that he was the king in disguise. That story is there in our Navadvip Dham Mahatmya because that place of Jayadev Goswami is literally, if you go on the scooter, it's probably like a 15-minute ride, right? 15, 20 minutes from here. Now, what's the name of that village? Champahati, where Jayadev Goswami lived. So that song is called Das Avatar Stotram. Who is the Das Avatars? Do you know the Das Avatars? The what? Huh? How many? Das means 10. Yes. Das Rupya. Okay. So, who are the 10 avatars? Do we have them depicted in our temple? There are 10. Otherwise, it would be a different name to the song. It's the 10 avatars of Vishnu. So where are the Das avatars shown in our temple here? Do you know? Where are they shown in our temple?
Right side. Around the altar.
Yes, around the altar, one by one, all the way around to the other side. So who are they? Who's the first one? Matsya, then Kurma, Varaha, Nrsimha, Vamana, Huh?
Rama. Parashuram.
No, first Parashuram, then Lord Ramachandra, then Baladev, Buddha, and who's the last one? Kalki. Kalki will be waiting till the end of the Kalpa, to the end of this day of Brahma. At the end of every Kali Yuga, Kalki will come. And why will he come? Because Kali Yuga is very degrading. In ordinary Kali Yugas, you can read all the symptoms. In the end of the Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, the symptoms of Kali Yuga are described there. Prabhupada used to refer to these symptoms that even some of them are already present even now. We're only 5,000 years into the Kali Yuga, but the Kali Yuga lasts for 432,000 years. 432,000. 4,32,000 years. But we're only 5,000 years into the Kali Yuga. But this Kali Yuga is not like the other Kali Yugas. Why? Because this is the Danya Kali Yuga, in which Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Krishna himself comes. And therefore he has changed the entire Kali Yuga. And in this way, the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go everywhere. Already now it's starting, 500 years after Mahaprabhu. Now it's going all over the world. And what's coming in the next 20-25 years is going to completely change the whole Earth planet and usher in this period wherein Mahaprabhu's mission will be embraced by millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people, because there will be a lot of crushing, Western civilization crushing, to prepare everyone for receiving the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Kalki avatar is one of the avatars of Vishnu, but in this Kali Yuga he doesn't need to come, because it will not become as degraded as it was. So, Srila Gurudev is now talking about this song. I'm just going to read this and then we'll complete today's class. Why is Sri Jayadev Goswami, who is so rasik, and he's absorbed in the rasas of Sri Vraja, why is he beginning his Gita Govinda with a description of the 10 prominent avatars? So here, if a person eats only Ras Malai, you know Ras Malai? You should know it because it's one of the favorite things of the devotees. If you're in Vrindavan or here, you can get Ras Malai. Yes. And Ras Malai has curd, paneer in it, soaked with the juice of, with the cooked down milk, soaked with that in a cup, with a big piece of paneer, and it's very sweet and very nice. But Gurudev is saying that if this is all that a person eats, is every day, Ras Malai, Ras Malai, breakfast, lunch, dinner, what will happen? He'll become very tired. He'll never appreciate it. And if he takes something bitter, something also savory, with salty, something sour, so many other preparations, then when he tastes Ras Malai, then he thinks, oh, this is the king of all preparations. So Gurudev is saying that similarly, Sri Jayadev Goswami has glorified the astonishing pastimes of all the avatars to enhance our appreciation of Lord Krishna. Keshavadrita Dasa Vidha Rupa. Shri Krishna himself has appeared in these 10 forms. These forms are Krishna himself. They're his avatars. They are Krishna. So, if there are 20 mighty, very strong wrestlers, if these 20 wrestlers are assembled together in one place, and they all fight each other, then when all have been defeated, and only one is left standing, then we will think, oh, he is so powerful, so expert. Otherwise, if we were to meet that same wrestler in a situation where there were no opponents, we would not be able to appreciate his marvelous power and strength. So in this song, Sri Jayadev Goswami presents the gradual evolution of the theistic conception for the sake of attracting all jivas, who are in different stages of their own spiritual evolution. All jivas are not on the same level. They're in different stages. Not everyone will be attracted to the Ras Leela, but their first attraction may be to Sri Matsya, fish incarnation, or Kurma, tortoise incarnation, or Nrsingadev, lion. They may be first attracted there. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed pastimes in many forms to attract and give mercy to all. So when Jayadev Goswami was writing Sri Gita Govinda, he saw in his trance how Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave his vamshi, his flute, and he also gave his mukut, his crown, and even his own head at the lotus feet of who? Srimati Radhika. Why? In order to break her what? Her man. And when Jayadev Goswami was about to write that description of Krishna giving his own head at the feet of Srimati Radhika, guess what happened to him? His hand began to shake and tremble. His heart was also trembling. He was unable to write about it. Why? This is because his mood was not Shuddha Madhurya, completely free from knowledge of the Lord's supremacy. So he put down his pen. He went to take bath in the Ganga. Then in the meantime, Lord Krishna had to personally come in the form of Sri Jayadev Goswami and write that line. What is that line? Smara Garala Kandanam Mama Shirashi Mandanam Dehi Padapallavam Udaram. This is what Krishna is telling to Srimati Radhika. Krishna wrote this line himself. It means, O Srimati Radhike, I am feeling the virulent affliction of Cupid. Virulent means like poison. I'm feeling this virulent affliction of Cupid. Yes, of Cupid. Smara means Cupid. Please be merciful to me, O Radhike, by decorating my head with your lotus feet. So Sri Jayadev Goswami, he could not write this. But our Gaudiya Guru Varga, our disciplic succession, has written such things directly and elaborately because such verses are actually so pleasing to Sri Krishna. Like what verse? Yat kinkarishu bahusha kaluka kuvani nityam parasya purushasya shikanda mole tasya kadarasa nidher vrishabhanu jayas tatkeli kunja bhavanangana marjanisyam. So this is from Sri Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, written by who? Yes, this is written by Prabodhananda Saraswati. So he's describing here in his poetry the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears a peacock feather in his hair. He falls at the feet of her maidservants. Whose maidservants? Srimati Radhika's maidservants, her manjaris. He falls at his manjari's feet and he begs them, propitiates them with many humble and grief-stricken words to be allowed to enter her kunja. Oh, how successful my life would be if I could become even one stick in the broom that is used by the Sakis to sweep that kunja, where an endless ocean of rasa in the form of the daughter of Sri Vrishabhanu Maharaj engages in delightful amorous play. This is the 8th slok of Radharasa Sudhanidhi. So Gurudev's telling that Krishna is not fully controlled by the recitation of the writings of Jayadev Goswami. But Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he has described how Krishna personally decorates the feet of Kishori Ji. And he writes his name there. Krishna writes his name on the feet of Srimati Radhika. And moreover, Raghunath Das Goswami has even described how Srimati Radhika makes her stamp of ownership on the head of Krishna with what? The alta, the red paint from her lotus feet. This is the Vaishishtya. This is the speciality of our Goswamis. So, if Sri Krishna hears such prayers, he will feel indebted and he will think, how can I ever repay you? So we should recite the prayers of our Goswamis. Sri Jayadev Goswami could not write these things because he was not under the guidance of gopis like Sri Rupa Manjari. So now, at the end of Srila Maharaja's lecture, then Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Tirtha Maharaj began to recite and to comment on Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto from the first verse onwards. So this Bhagavatam Katha continued for 10 hours by the combined efforts of several prominent Vaishnavas. Throughout the whole day on Janmashtami Day, that's what they would do. They'd have different speakers. And it continued all the way up to midnight with a mixture of Gaudiya bhajans in Bengali and charming traditional bhajans in Vraj Bhasha, the local language of Vraj. I mean, you would have to be there. On Janmashtami evening, there would be at least 2 or 3 hours of the local Brijvasis coming and singing all the traditional Brijvasi songs in their language, Vraj Bhasha. Their language is like from Sanskrit, but it's a special dialect. And so many songs they would sing. And they would, then all of the Keshavji Gaudiya Math members, they would sit in the holy presence of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Raj and relish the mellows of Nam Samkirtan for 5 hours, while literally thousands of pilgrims flowed through the temple room, eager to have darshan of Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari and to partake of the kirtan and the swing festival. Then at midnight, the auspicious moment of the birth of Shri Krishna Chandra, a Maha Abhishek began. Then all the devotees looked on in great satisfaction as Shri Shri Radha Krishna were bathed in milk, yogurt, honey, rosewater, and so on. Although most of the devotees had fasted completely from food and even from water throughout this exceptionally hot Janmashtami day, and many were feeling exhausted still upon witnessing the bathing ceremony of their beloved Ishtadev and Devi, predominating deities. All fatigue, hunger, and thirst miraculously disappeared. Thus, the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam was subjectively apparent to the faithful participants, which is yata taror mula nishechanena triptyanti tatskanda bujo pashaka pranopaharach chayatendriyanam tataiva sarvarhanam achyutejya. Which means, by pouring water on the root of a tree, all the leaves and all the branches are automatically nourished. Do we do that with Tulsi every day? Yes. So in the same way, by offering service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, all other purposes are satisfied. And just as by offering food to the stomach, then all the limbs of the body are satisfied. Similarly, by offering service to Sri Krishna, the entire universe is satisfied. So the Sri Sharanamrita from the Abhishek bathing ceremony was distributed among the crowds of pilgrims. Then with renewed vigor, the resident Vaishnavas and volunteers began to serve out the Janmashtami Mahamahotsav Mahaprasad to all the guests before honoring Mahaprasad themselves. And the post-prasad cleanup finished just in time for the Mangal Artik, which heralded the arrival of Sri Nandotsav, the grand festival of Nanda Maharaj, and the divine appearance day of Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. So there's some more section here, but we will not read that now because it's long. And in our next class, we'll also read that, or on Nandotsav day. We'll read that. Yes, really long. Wow. Okay, so now we've completed Srila Gurudev's celebration of the Janmashtami festival, Janmashtami day. It's very exciting. We will also be here till midnight in the temple room with a big Abhishek of Krishna and Kirtan and all of that. And so our next day of class will be, today is Thursday, so our next class is on Sunday, as usual, on the 25th. And so that Sunday class, we will do as much as we can before Janmashtami day, which will be on the following Tuesday, Sri Krishna Janmashtami day. That's the big day. Everyone will fast until midnight. And then at midnight, break the fast with Ekadasi Prasad. But the next day is Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, Nandotsava day. And on that day, we will hear the nectar and glories of Srila Prabhupada. And also about Nanda Maharaj's festival from the Ananda Vrindavan Champu. Very beautifully described by Kavi Karnapur, how Nanda Maharaj had this big festival. He gave cows, he gave so many gifts to all the brahmanas and fed everyone sumptuously. So on that day, we will also observe that day. So then after the Janmashtami festival and Nanda Otsav, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, then our next class will probably be on Friday. There's, on the calendar it says Pakshavardhani Mahadvadashi. So that will be a Mahadvadashi day, and we will fast on that day, which is Friday. Friday, August 30th. So, and then our next day of class after that will be on Sunday, but there's nothing on the schedule for that Sunday, which is the 1st of September. But a couple of weeks after Janmashtami comes the wonderful, beautiful, it's actually exactly 2 weeks after Janmashtami will be Srimati Radhika's appearance day, Radhastami. And the day before her appearance day is Lalita Devi's appearance day. So that will be on Tuesday, the 10th, Wednesday, the 11th. We'll figure that out later on, what we'll do at that time. And then the week after that, on the 18th, is Vishwarup Mahotsav. Now, just in case you didn't know, we've already entered into the 2nd month of Chaturmasya. And we are fasting from yogurt. But if needed, then you can add water to the yogurt. And now we can again take green leafy vegetables. That fasting is finished now. And so on the next full moon day, which is the day that our Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, Vishwarup Mahotsav day, right in the middle of the 4 months, Chaturmasya. So on that day, all the sannyasis and brahmacharis will shave, and then go for the next 2 months also without shaving, until the final day of Kartik. So this is the program, and I'm very happy that we can read the words of Srila Gurudev, and on that next class day, we'll read from Gurudev's book, the Secret Truths of the Bhagavatam, where he lists all the reasons why Sri Krishna appeared. But now, since we've been nourished by the memories of Srila Gurudev's observance, all these vivid memories come of Srila Gurudev on Janmashtami day and the big procession and all of that. So now we can go dive deeper into the Krishna Katha and the subject matter that Srila Gurudev specifically highlighted in his Western preaching about Krishna. But we heard so many beautiful things today of Jayadev Goswami, Prabodhananda Saraswati, and so forth. So we'll end our class here. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinatha, Radha Gopinatha Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radha Vinodi Hari, Radha Vinodi Hari Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satchavachai Namo Namaha Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glory to the assembled devotees.